Welcome to another edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up. During this program, we will highlight the agenda items presented to the Lakeville City Council at their December 2nd, 2013 meeting. First highlighted item on the agenda is item number 5B, Public Works Department Monthly Report. And to give the background information on this agenda item is Public Works Director Chris Petrie.
So we'll get started with the November 2013 monthly report for the Public Works Department. And I think I said at last month's monthly report that would be the end of our construction project updates for the year, but this will officially be the end of our updates. So I wanted to hit on I-35. As everyone's aware, I-35 is now open in both directions. All lanes of travel are open. Work will resume on the southbound lanes of I-35 beginning in the spring of 2014, where the repairs were not even commenced. They weren't started, so they'll be started. MnDOT is telling us somewhere from 2 to 4 weeks of construction we could expect next spring, and of course staff will coordinate that work with MnDOT and with Dakota County to try and minimize any impacts. Any residents looking for any updates on this project, whether it be right now or come next spring, of course, can visit the MnDOT website with the I-35 project webpage. And of course, you can visit our website where we will keep a link up where folks can connect directly into the project webpage on MnDOT's website. Other major construction projects, all phases of the street reconstruction project, and you can see the little bit of snow. This wasn't today, this was a couple of weeks ago that we took the pictures, but all phases of the street reconstruction project in Valley Park, Clays Acres, and along 204th Street are substantially complete. Final paving in some areas and other punch list items will take place next spring. And the 168th Street Bridge project, as you can see by the photos, the bridge replacement has been completed and was open to traffic in early November. There'll be a few minor items that will take place next spring to wrap the project up. Moving on, problems with a residential sanitary sewer line prompted, as you can see in the photos, our utilities division staff to evaluate the line and determine the best solution to eliminate the problems. The line was televised by our staff, and the solution was to replace a section of the pipe that was not allowing proper drainage. More or less, there was a sag in the line. A long trench, as you can see by the photos, was dug that stretched from the yard all the way to the middle of the street where the sewer main was, and the affected sewer line was uncovered. The portion that did not have that proper slope was repaired and replaced. It's important to note that this excavation had to work around the water main that was in the street, and the new pipe had to be laid actually underneath the water main to provide adequate slope for the drainage of this sanitary sewer service. The pipe replacement only took a few hours, and the curb and street was repaired the following day. Restoration, of course, in the yard area will take place next spring. I've talked quite a bit before about water main breaks. They tend to occur without any notice, and there's really no way to predict when one might occur. So on a recent morning in November, our DCC contacted our utilities superintendent about a possible break in a 24-inch water main, which is a relatively large water main, along 185th Street or County Road 60 near Ixonia Avenue. Immediately, our maintenance staff was dispatched to the area. Valves were closed to stop the leak while arrangements were made to excavate the pipe and make the repair. Affected residents and businesses were notified of the temporary water outage. But due to the location of the break, and you can kind of see it in these photos, a contractor was used to excavate the pipe and make the repair. It was fortunate that this water main along 185th Street, because it is so large and its location was actually underneath the shoulder of the roadway, like you can see. So we're able to actually divert traffic around the excavation site to make the repair rather than having to close down 185th Street. Work was completed by mid-afternoon before the evening rush hour, and the shoulder was patched the following morning. Now, other things going on around the city, our streets division crews did finish up just before the first snowfall, their second round of fall street sweeping just before Thanksgiving. The focus, of course, of fall street sweeping is to get rid of as many leaves off the street as possible and out of the gutter line before snows start to accumulate and things start to freeze. Of course, letting those leaves accumulate and then sit over the winter would result in clogged catch basins and ultimately would increase the potential for street flooding in the spring as the snow thaws. Other things, wanted to highlight a little bit of our fleet maintenance operations. Our changeovers have been complete for our summer use going to winter use, so all of the equipment is ready to go. And now fleet technicians, of course, are focused on keeping the trucks and equipment in top condition for the winter, and you can see one of our technicians putting on some new tires for one of our fleet pickups. And lastly, around the city, our streets division staff were out installing holiday wreaths in the downtown area and banners in preparation for the downtown lighting ceremony just before Thanksgiving last week. Installing wreaths has been easier in recent years as the city transitioned to LED lighted wreaths and new mounting systems, which was all possible as part of an EECBG grant that the city received about 3 or 4 years ago. That does conclude the November 2013 monthly report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Next highlighted item on the agenda is item number 7, Truth in Taxation Public Hearing. And to give the information regarding this agenda item is Finance Director Dennis Feller.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Before you tonight is the 2014 budget and proposed tax levy. The budget process this year was different in that the City Council asked staff to start with the 2013 property tax levy and budget and justify and prioritize any increases over and above the 2013 tax levy. We'll talk a little later in the presentation about the details of what that means. The purpose of tonight's meeting is to present the budget and tax levy and provide an opportunity for taxpayers to ask questions and present comments. Let's start with the 2014 budget, which is $56 million, 45% of which is for operations. There's 4 new personnel positions within the budget. 2 of the positions, the code enforcement officer and the engineering tech, are paid for with user fees. The street fleet supervisor will be financed with future reduction in expenses in operating commodities and so forth in future budgets. The police investigator position will be paid for with property taxes. 16% of the budget is allocated towards payment of debt. The debt is repaid from a number of different sources, including property taxes, user fees, liquor profits, state aids, and other revenue sources. 37% of the budget is allocated towards capital improvements, such as street reconstruction projects, utility projects, and park improvements. The revenue sources are derived from a number of sources. Service fees comprise 16% of the budget. At the December 16th City Council meeting, we'll have a presentation discussing the increases which are proposed for water, sanitary sewer, street lights, as well as water connection charges which are collected with building permits. Other revenue sources include the issuance of debt, use of existing cash balances, liquor profits, and other revenues. Property taxes comprise 43% of the revenue sources. Let's therefore take a few minutes to talk about the 2014 proposed property tax levy. Recently, property owners received a statement, which is an estimate of their 2014 property taxes. That estimate was based on a preliminary levy the City Council adopted on September 16th of $23.9 million. In the weeks and months that have followed, the City Council has gone through a number of work sessions at which they have decided to reduce the tax levy by 1.4%. The proposed tax levy before you tonight is therefore $23.6 million, which is a 2.5% increase over the 2013 tax levy. When the budget process started, the council asked staff to start with the 2013 tax levy as the baseline, but any increases, any changes to that tax levy must be prioritized and justified. The first priority were those related to legislative changes. The legislature exempted municipalities from paying sales tax, and as a result, the city tax levy will decrease by $140,000 due to that savings. The election process will cost $68,000 and police pensions $41,000. The second priority is related to debt for facilities such as the police and the central maintenance facility, which therefore result in a $23,000 tax levy increase. The third priority was infrastructure improvements for street reconstruction programs of $253,000. The fourth priority was related to service level changes, and those changes that are the result of community growth, especially as it relates to residential new construction. And that increase was $332,000. It's for such items as commodity adjustments, compensation and benefits, the rookie firefighter class, firefighter training, the fleet service supervisor, major maintenance of parks, the police chaplaincy program, police investigator, and so forth, which therefore result in the total proposed 2014 tax levy of $23.6 million, comprising that 2.5%. Even though the overall levy is 2.5%, the new growth, especially for the new residential home construction, is 2.2% reduction, which is shared amongst that new tax-based growth. So the net increase to the existing residents, the existing property owners, is 0.3%. The tax levy, $23 million, includes operations, debt, capital improvements. And the largest component is for public safety of 41%, which includes police and fire. Public Works is the second largest component, which is 30%, which finances the snow removal and street reconstruction projects. Parks and Recreation is third at 16%, followed by other programs of 13%. The budget document also includes a 5-year capital improvement plan. Transportation projects in the next 2 years includes the roundabout at County Road 50 and 60. In 2017, it includes the County Road 50 improvements from 185th Street to Dodd Boulevard, as well as Dodd Boulevard in 2018 from 192nd to 185th Street. According to the community survey, the number one concern of our residents is the condition of our streets, the pavement. And as such, the City Council directed that the street reconstruction projects be accelerated over the next 5 years to improve the overall condition of city streets. Utilities projects includes water main improvements, construction of 4 new wells, a new water tower, and expansion of water treatment facility. Park projects include the new Summerlin Park, as well as improvements to King Park. The 5-year plan also addresses equipment acquisition and replacements for those assets which are at the end of their useful life, as well as major maintenance of city facilities. The capital improvement program is financed with property taxes, as well as user fees, but especially from other revenue sources, such as Dakota County, state, and federal government. Information on the budget, tax levy, can be found on the city website at lakevillemn.gov. And again, the purpose of our meeting here tonight is to present property owners or interested parties the opportunity to make comments, ask questions. The budget and tax levy will be adopted, will be presented for city council approval at the December 16th meeting, and the city staff is more than happy to answer any questions.
Item number 7 was approved by the Lakeville City Council. Well, those were the highlighted items presented to the council at their December 2nd, 2013 meeting. If you have any questions or comments regarding these agenda items, please feel free to call City Hall. The number is 952-985-4400. Thanks for watching this edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up. Ho, 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 ho! Happy holidays, everyone! Santa Claus here!
And I'm Officer Greg Jensen of the Lakeville Police Department. The annual Toys for Tots drive has begun. You can do your part to help the less fortunate children in our community.
If you would like to donate a new unwrapped toy, drop boxes are located at Lakeville City facilities.
Get into the spirit of the season and make a donation to this important cause. Right, Santa?
Right, Greg! Make a donation today to help make Rudolph's Day.